Hello. We're moving some stuff around and I'm setting my studio up, so just pretend like you don't see all of this right here. I also got some new lighting and a new microphone, so hopefully the sound quality and the video quality is a lot better in this video. But today we're going to be talking about mind pump. We're talking about the MAPS Symmetry Program. This is a program designed specifically to help even out imbalances, specifically muscle imbalances in the body. It's an 11-week program. I did buy this and I've already run through the entire program one time. I'm going to be completely transparent about that. I just wanted to test drive it before I made a video about it, but I've actually started running the program again for the second time. And that's what I'm going to share with you today, because did I get scammed or is it actually a good program? And if you don't know what Mind Pump is, I think you should go follow them. They're here on YouTube, but they also have a podcast. It's called Mind Pump. It's basically three really bro-y dudes that are like in their 40s, I believe, that are trainers. And at first you just really think they're a bunch of meatheads, but the more you watch them, the more you listen to them, these guys actually know what they're talking about and they know how to build a body. I was not eating the best the first time I ran the program, and I still saw substantial muscle and strength and balance gains. So I highly recommend you do look into at least their podcast. But now let's go over their symmetry program week by week, and I'll give you a breakdown of the program and how it goes. My cat's opening the door, so 1 second. All right, we're gonna start with a basic overview now that I've shut the cat out. Once again, we're ignoring all of this over here. This information is most important. This is why we're here anyway. So a basic overview, I think I've already said it's an 11-week program. You go through four phases. The first phase is 2 weeks, and then the other 3 phases are all 3 weeks. And so you run each of these phases from start to finish, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And then you have an 11-week program. They're meant to be done for 5 days a week each week. And so those 5 days are comprised of 3 main workouts, which is every other day. So let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then you also have 2 what they call trigger sessions, which I have found to be mostly like stretching and like not light stuff, but more like active recovery might be a good way. You're still working out, it's just not usually with weights and super hard. It's kind of an easier day. So you have 3 workouts, 2 trigger sessions, and then you have 2 days of rest in between. And I guess you can make that schedule up yourself. Like I personally have kind of a different schedule. So I don't work out typically on Sundays or Tuesdays. So I do Monday and then Tuesday through Saturday. I know that's kind of an odd schedule, but that's just what works for me. But then that also incorporates all 5 days. And say I don't have a Saturday workout, then I always have Sunday as an overflow. I think you should make a schedule that's best for you, but also use it, like work it into your schedule, because that's what's going to be most important to stay consistent on the program, is to make sure that it already fits into your life. Don't try to fit this program into your life, you know, or don't try to fit your life into the program. Fit your program into your life. It is 5 days. And I mean, however you do those 5 days, it's completely up to you, as long as you're doing it in the week structures, 5-day week structures. So I guess once we're past that, I did get it for around $100 sometime on sale. I think it was sometime around last June. They occasionally run like bundles or sales on their programs. They're very expensive programs, but if you buy one and you look at the time and the effort that goes into not only building the program, but building the digital accompaniment that goes with it, there is an app that you get access to, or a website, I guess, that you get access to as a Mind Pump member. And I guess I don't know if member is like a good word, because you don't really pay like a subscription. Like you buy the program, they give you the stuff, you have access to the stuff. And by stuff, I mean the entire program that I printed out in this book. You get access to it online, and then you also get access to videos. The extra stuff that you get in the program is the entire program that I printed out and put in this book. It comes with a workout calendar. It comes with a brief overview. I mean, they really put a lot of time and effort in this. And then each one of the exercises, stretches, whatever you want to call them, they all come with videos in this app thing, and you never lose access to that. Once you've paid for the program, it is yours to keep, which I really like that. And so you always have something to go back to and reference. Say you can't find this specific. Say you can't find a specific exercise on Google, then you can always reference it back directly into the Mind Pump catalog. And I think that that is one of the best features, and I don't mind paying the money for that feature because I can pull it up in the gym. I can take screenshots of it. I always have it at my disposal because there's quite a few things in this program, and I mean, you're not going to remember all of it, that's for sure. So I guess we will move on to phase one. So phase one, its primary purpose is to help you build overall strength so that you can move on to the other parts of the program, because it increasingly gets harder with each phase, as I mean all good programs should. It lasts for a 2-week phase, or this first phase lasts for 2 weeks. And primarily what you're doing is suspension training. I'll insert a clip somewhere where that shows like what suspension bands are. I think the brand is TRX, but basically they're fancy handles and like nylon bands, ropes that go over a steady base, and then you basically use your body weight against the bands. And so those are comprised of your 3 main workouts. And then the other half of the workout is or not workout. The other 2 trigger sessions are basically like foam rolling, band work, and then you do a lot of work with those like PVC stick things. I'll put a picture of that somewhere in here too. On top of the suspension bands, you do basically a lot of single calf raises, standing and sitting. Now, if you don't have machines for that at your gym, or if you're trying to do this, I don't recommend you try to do this program from home. There's just too much equipment that you would need. But yeah, they really like to focus on calf raises, sitting, standing, single, double. They really like them. So that's something that you're going to basically see every single workout throughout this entire program is calf raises. And then you do a smidgen with kettlebells in this one, but when I say a smidgen, I mean there's like 2 exercises where you touch a kettlebell through this entire phase. And then you run that for 2 weeks doing the 3 suspension band / kettlebell workouts. And then you have 2 days of the trigger sessions, which is foam rolling, those stick workout things, and resistance bands. So that is really like testing your personal inner body, because you're not really using weight other than the kettlebells. So you really have to rely on your own muscles. And this is where, if you're in tune with your skeletal system, you'll really start to feel where things are pulling on one side a lot more than the other. Or if you're not in tune with your body, this might be a good way to at least try to figure that out, because they always want you to start on your weaker side. And if you don't know what your weaker side is, I promise you it will become apparent really quickly. I think that's all I have about phase 1. Let's move on to phase 2. So phase 2 starts into our first 3-week phase. And this is meant to speed up your metabolism and start building some muscle. And so you do mainly cables and dumbbells in this. Your 3 workouts are comprised of primarily just cables and dumbbells. And then guess what? More seated and standing single leg calf raises. I told you they really, really like calf raises in this. Seated and standing, and you're going to do a ton of them. but that's to also help with your upper posterior chain. And I get why they do it. It's a lot of them, and you'll see if you do by this particular program. So then on your trigger session days on this particular phase, it's mainly foam rolling, and then those PVC stick things, or if you have like a broom handle. I don't know what other gyms have. We have PVC pipe. It's about yay long, and you with the PVC pipe amongst other things. But that's basically what your trigger sessions are on this, and I think it focuses a lot on flexibility, mobility, and once again finding out like where those weaknesses are. And so like if you're doing a lot with your arms, I know I look silly just waving my arms around, but I think you get the gist. It'll really start showing you maybe where, like if you're more flexible in your left arm than you are in your right arm, like maybe you can stretch your left arm all the way up where like your right arm doesn't go all the way up. This is where you'll start seeing some of that, because you'll really start stretching. And I mean, they really focus, because it's a symmetry program, left side, right side. You'll start picking up on that stuff, because you'll notice one side is probably going to be more sore than the other. And I guess a lot of this also depends on your advancement level with lifting. If you've been lifting a ton of time, these might be subtle things that you notice. If you're a really early beginner, you're going to notice a lot of things because things are just not going to be feeling right. Or you might not notice anything at all because you're a beginner and you have no connection to your muscles or your body. But that's another video. I guess let's move on to phase 3. So phase 3, the objective here, it's also a 3-week phase. The objective here is to build muscle and sculpt the body. And I think by sculpt the body, they mean that you should start seeing a little bit more definition in the muscle than you had before, especially if your eating is on point. Like I said, the first time I ran this thing, we were eating not great at all. But I've gotten back on the healthy eating, clean eating, keto carnivore train as much as possible. You know, I still snack on some candy here and there, but who doesn't? But yeah, you should really start seeing some definition here in the arms, especially, probably in the legs. That's well, I guess you've been doing some full body stuff with this program, but that's mainly where I think you'll start seeing some real definition. This phase is basically comprised of few barbell exercises, mostly dumbbells, and mostly calf raises. There's a little bit of cables thrown in here and there, but these calf raises are both legs. So we've moved from single legs to both legs now. And you've got some abs actually started to work into this. I think we start doing the ab roller, which is few and far between. They don't really focus on abs a whole lot, but it is part of your main core, and like your core keeps you steady. So they do have to focus on it. And it is good. I mean, you're not going to get like a super ripped 6-pack from any of this, but you're definitely going to have more core strength, and you can actually feel your, your transverse abdominis. I might be remembering that incorrectly, but basically your inner corset. You should start feeling that getting tighter throughout this program. So here we go to phase 4. Also 3 weeks. And it's the last phase. And I have got to be honest, this is probably my most favoriteest phase out of this whole program, because you get to do almost exclusively, almost exclusively barbell workouts on the workout days. And then your trigger session days are called focus sessions. So if you have a lagging body part, like mine personally are my lats, so I typically focus lats on those days. So like if yours is your quads, or if maybe you want to focus on your triceps, then those are the days where they have you pick 2 to 3 exercises for 15 reps each, and you focus on that body part. You pick 2 or 3 exercises for that body part. So if I was focusing on my lats, I might do pull-ups, some lat pull-downs. You get the gist. And so you get to pick. So it's kind of nice because you have a little bit more of your own freedom at the end of the phases. or at the fourth phase, the end phase. And then the workouts are comprised of barbell 5x5s. And it gets pretty intense. And I mean, you're going to be taking, they say 60 seconds of rest in between, but on these days, sometimes you're going to be taking more because you're doing some front squats, back squats, overhead presses with the barbell. All of these are barbell exercises. And if you really want to see where you're lacking, try to push a barbell over your head. I mean, it gets pretty difficult. You also do some barbell rows. So, I mean, they got you doing all sorts of barbell stuff, and those barbell movements will have you working out your whole body and you not even realize it. But yeah, that's probably my favorite phase, just because I do enjoy compound lifts a little bit more, and I do enjoy barbells a little bit more. But that completes your 11 weeks. And then they highly recommend, I've heard them say this on their podcast several times, if you run this program, they highly recommend you run it again. And it's because I think from already doing it one time, and then I'm into the second week. Yeah, the second week. I'm starting my second week of my second phase tomorrow. Already running the program once, I can tell you, I think running it a second time is more beneficial, because the first time you're really just building balance and trying to see exactly where those imbalances are. Because going into that, I had no idea which side was my stronger side, or which side was going which muscles were overcompensating, that kind of thing. So I think running the program once really gives you an internal feel of like, hey, this isn't feeling right, or I think I'm using more of my left arm than my right arm, whatever. And then the second time you run the program is really where you can focus on those imbalances and put more effort into those imbalances and really give the program all that it's got, because then you're seeing exactly where you're building, where you're building strength and stability. And I think if you are going to step into any other program or any other of their programs, this is a good foundational, because then you can go into something like MAPS Aesthetic, Anabolic, whatever, with foundational understanding of where your weaknesses lie. And I think that's what's important about this program. Overall, 10 out of 10. Like, I've bought quite a few other programs. MAPS Symmetry, I know I've got some glare there. I've bought a few other programs, and like nothing compares to this, doesn't hold a candle. If you really want to see some strength gains, muscular changes, you really want to get benefit out of your workouts, I think the Mind Pump guys are where you go and should go. And if you don't want to spend the money on their programs right off, I think at least following their podcast will give you a lot of good information. Well, that's all for today. Like and share if you liked this video, and comment. Please subscribe, and there will be more of this.